Hi all, today we'll discuss microservice best practice. So what are all the things we have to cover in microservice while we are going for the development. So the first thing we have to cover this micro front end. So micro front end means we have a multiple microservices will be there, like accounts microservices and sales microservices. So directly we are not giving this functionality to the users to access this microservices. So we have a accounts as a accounts and sale will be thus, so that once users will connect from the UI, so they will hit this account informations or sell informations. The API will gateway that will be redirect to this particular microservices, either account service microservice or sales service microservices. So we have a micro front end. So the front end we will have accounts and sales will be there, so that will be directed to the account service or microservice by using API gateway. Second, we have a separate data store per services. Like if you have a multiple microservices, for that we need to separate this data store. So suppose we have user service or payment service in this microservice. So user service will have a separate database, and payment service also should have a separate database, so that we can easily stores the data easily and communicate with each other. Others, we have a asynchronous communication at a similar level of maturity. So asynchronous communications, like if client or customer is sending any orders, so that order microservice will hit, and in that time we have a event bus which will be triggered in that case. So we have a inventory and shipment. So in this inventory and shipment we have to send this order detail. So simultaneously we can process multiple requests with this multiple microservices. In that cases we will go for the asynchronous communications at the similar level of maturity, so that will be handle multiple requests at a similar time. Then we have a build and deploy separately. So we have a inventory has there, we have a shipment is there, we have a users are there. So these all are different microservices. If you want to build and deploy separately, so in that cases we have a multiple tools are there, like a Jenkins will be there, Puppets is there, and Jenkins is there, Bamboo is there, and others is there. So through that we can add this build triggers through the Jenkins. We have to write the CI/CD. So once we write the CI/CD pipeline, then inventory service will be test and deployed it, build the jar and deploy the same. Like that we have a shipment and users will be there, that also will do the same. Then others, we have a container. So all microservice, suppose if you want to create a container, so in that cases we have a Docker image. So we have to create a Docker image for that. Like suppose we have a cart microservice, user microservice, order microservice. In that cases we need to create a container. So how you will create a container? Create a Docker image. So once the Docker image will be created, that containers will be updated. And then once we have a multiple container, then we have to do orchestration. So orchestration, we have a Kubernetes. So Kubernetes will be manage all the container. So here we have a users and others, users, cart, orders microservices. For all the microservice will have a different containers will be there. So that for that we have a nodes and clusters will be there. Through that they will manage all the container by using Kubernetes. Then we have a domain driven design. We need to do for this sub design, subdomain and all. And apart from this, we have a stateless service. So a stateless service will have a request and response while we are communicating with this client to applications. So that will be a stateless. Instead of a stateful, we have to go for the stateless service. And then single responsibility principles, that is called solid principles. So for that cases we have to use while we are implementing any microservices. Then these all are the patterns we have to use: single responsibility, a stateless service, domain design principle, domain driven design principle, containerization, orchestrations, build and deploy separately, asynchronous communication, and then we have a separate data store per services, and micro front end. So these all are the best practice while we are creating any microservices. Thank you.